Hand me your instrument. Yeah. Let me, I just want to see the position on the mouthpiece. So, as you know, it is super important the way we put the reed on, right? We want to make sure the surfaces line up. So for my money, I think the reed was a little too high, so I moved it down a little bit, and I also straightened out the ligature a little bit. Moved it just a little bit lower. Give that a shot. So let's say you do your G scale. Yeah, nice. Do you think that's better or worse or the same?
Better.
I think that's better too. So my general rule of thumb, Brandon, is when I'm looking at reeds to make sure that they're on correctly, I actually turn the clarinet around. So why don't you try this? There you go. And so looking at it, you see a little bit of reed hanging over, right? Then if I take my finger and very lightly push down on the tip, which is the softest part of the reed, so it has to be light, it should be gone. You should not be able to see it. It should be disappeared, right? No, not there. So for me, that's the correct placement for the reed. That's how I tell. Now, I don't do that every time because I put my reed on a couple of times, right? So I sort of know where the spot is for me, but that might be a good clue for you to find, really find out what the sweet spot is for your reed. Because of course we want maximum vibration of the reed, so the flat surfaces together need to align as well. All right, so play your G scale for me once more. Nice. So when I get a squeak, right, I just tell people I'm working on my higher register. No problem. You're just trying to get those higher partials out, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about a couple things. I gave it away just a little bit, but how does the clarinet make sound? I know it's a very basic question.
Reed vibrating.
The reed vibrates, right? How does the reed vibrate? Is it like magic?
Your air.
Your air, right? It's very important. So let's talk a little bit about air support to start off with. As you know, the clarinet is constantly changing resistance. So say on that G scale where you started, we have all this down, almost all the resistance we have, to this G, which is barely any resistance, right? So we have to come up with a way that our air stays the same no matter the change of resistance, okay? So one way I do it is, I'd like you to put this in your bell, okay? Just put it up in there, good. All right, now I'd like you to play a low E and play the biggest, loudest low E you've ever played in your life. Nice, okay. So no sound came out, right? Why was that?
Because the air couldn't go through.
The air couldn't go through because it was blocked up, right? So you had all the resistance you can on the instrument, through to the bottom, it was stopped up, okay? What I want you to notice this time that you play the biggest, loudest low E you've ever played in your life is, what does the resistance feel like? You should feel some backup pressure in your abdomen, okay? What does it feel like here? See if you can observe that.
What does it feel like in my mouth?
In your mouth, all through your head here, through your body. Okay, loud. Nice. Okay, so tell me what you notice here.
It was more tense. Yeah.
More tense. A lot of pressure, right? A lot of resistance. Okay. Anything else you noticed up here?
More pressure.
Yeah, a lot more pressure. So a lot of air, right? Okay, I'd like you to do this a third time now. Biggest, baddest, loudest low E you've ever played. Nice. Okay, now pull out the swab. Now play that same low E for me, okay? Yeah, nice. So it was so easy to come out, wasn't it? Okay. Now, you probably won't play low E's that loud often, right? But now you have the opportunity to do so. Okay, so what's a good way for us to remember what this air feels like? Well, just muscle memory, right? Doing it so often with the swab and the bell. But you might not always have a swab, right? And you might not always have your clarinet out when you're trying to remember. So what I have people do is this. So replicating that pressure here, pushing against your finger like you would push into the instrument, and then pulling your finger away. Watch this one more time. Will you try that for me? That pressure. Nice. Okay. Now, one more time on the low E for me. Okay. The same pressure. Good. Now, let's do your G scale. I just want you to hold out the G while I play the scale. Okay, I'm just going to do 2 octaves to make it a little simpler. So same pressure, same feeling, okay? Nice. This time I want you to focus on not letting the air change at all. You're pushing from here. Same pressure, okay? Good. Now we're going to switch. Okay, so find your air for me once. Good, here we go. You're going to play the scale. You can do all 3 octaves if you like. And then I'll hold out the G. Here we go. Nice. So already your sound's getting much bigger, right? I would venture to say somewhere around here, you stopped pushing the air in that same way. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
You think you did? Okay. This time I'd like you to play the scale by yourself and keep the air. Make that your focus right now. Okay, so find your air one more time for me. Nice. Play the scale. Yeah, I like that. So tell me some things you notice that's different about your sound when you do that.
More full.
It's more full, right? That's a really good thing. Also, do you notice anything different about the articulation?
It sounds cleaner.
Much cleaner and much more consistent, right? Okay, so now we got that air straightened out. You'll always and forever play this way, right? All right, the next thing I want to talk about, may I pull this out of your class? Thank you. Is, in fact, articulation. Okay. So, here's the word that I like to use. I'm just going to write it here for you for now. Okay, can you say that for me? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is, are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right.
Right-handed. Okay, nice. So put your clarinet. Yeah, there you go. So get your finger, your right finger. Yeah, actually, it doesn't even matter. Whatever you want to do. Okay, and I'd like you to say ch. This time, I want you to think of pushing the air and your tongue to right here. Nice. Okay, now with the same kind of air, push. Yeah, very good. Play your low G for me now and start with the nice. Now I want you to think. Let's try that one. So point here, okay? Remember your air. Here we go. Good. Play your scale just like that. Good air. Pushing from here.
1 octave.
Your choice. 2 octaves. Let's do 2 octaves. Okay. Pushing from here. It's okay. Yeah. So same air. You like that?
Yeah.
You hear the difference? It's amazing, right? Now your B flat scale, same thing. Find your air for me once. Remind yourself. B flat scale. 1, 2, out, in. That's a whole different level of playing, right? Making you a little dizzy? You know, the air thing does this. And it's a good clue to tell you you're not used to working this hard, okay? So, yeah, you might feel a little dizzy every now and then. In fact, just doing this with you now makes me a little dizzy, so it reminds me I need to push air that same kind of way. All right, so we've got the ch down, okay? We got your air down. Now, let's hear you make some music in this style, okay? So working on the first etude here, what key are we in?
C sharp.
C sharp, yeah. Actually, we're not in C sharp, but let me show you a cool way to figure this out. When we're in a key that has sharps, okay, we go to the last sharp. Okay, what's the last sharp in this key signature? So what are the sharps in order?
F, C, G.
G, right? So G is the last sharp.
Oh,
Okay, and then you go, if you go a half step up from G, that's what note?
G.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
You are correct. If you go a half step up from G sharp, what note is that?
Oh wait, half step?
A half step up.
Oh, up?
Yeah. So think about it for a second on your horn, right? So if you're playing G right here, then you have G sharp, that's our note, right? You go up a half step, what note is that?
A.
A, right? So that's the name of our key. Okay, so anytime you have a sharp key, if you go up a half step from the last flat, that gives you the name of the key. So this key is then A, right? And this key is what? What's the last sharp there?
C sharp.
So go up a half step.
D. Oh,
D, yeah, that's right. So it's the key of D. So you will always and forever know how to know what key you're in, right? So, and of course these are major keys, right? It's a little different from mine, and we'll talk about that in a second as we get to it. All right, so thinking of ch and reminding yourself of the air, why don't you start this one for me? Just play her down. Nice. Very nice. Nice job. I can tell you worked really hard on this. Bravo. All right, so let's talk about a couple things. First of all, how did you feel about that?
Could be better.
Could be better. Could it be worse? Right? Could be worse, right? I thought it was very good. Can you tell me a couple good things?
I think I started off stronger than stronger at the beginning than what the rest was.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And anything else? One more good thing, positive thing that you liked about it?
Articulation at the beginning?
Yeah, it was very clean. Were you thinking ch? Yeah. Nice. Okay, so you and I together, these two bars plus this note. Let's just ch this together, okay? So we're going to point here, push our air and tug up here. Don't forget about your air. 1, 2, good, play it just like that for me. I'm going to ch for you while you play. 1, 2, out. Good, nice. Okay, now by yourself. 1, 2, out. Nice, lovely. Big difference? No difference?
Difference.
Big difference, right? I like that. Let's keep that. Okay, now I notice here we have these rooftop accents, right? So how are you interpreting these?
Staccato and like short.
Super staccato, super short, right? Okay, so what I like is that you have a plan. I like your plan. You're really committed to it, okay? I think those notes need to be just a little bit longer, okay? Because, why is this note important in this key?
It's the name of the...
It's the name of the key, right? We call this the tonic. Have you heard these terms before?
Yeah.
Tonic, dominant, right? What's the dominant of this key? You're not sure? Okay. The dominant of this key is E, right? For A major. So that's the fifth. If you think of the arpeggio or the fifth scale degree, that's the dominant. So those are important sort of landing notes for us to be on. A, of course, more important because that's established as the key for us. So I think they need just a little more time. Okay, just a little more time thinking shh. Now you might change this later, but let's just try that for now. 1, 2, out. Nice, very nice. Okay, now this note here is different than these two, right? So these are the rooftop accents, and this is what?
Accent.
Accent, yeah. What does this look like besides an accent? Something else we deal with all the time.
Small decrescendo.
Small decrescendo or diminuendo like this, but very small, right? So it means that the note has a louder and heavier beginning, and then you come back from it, right? Right? And so coming back away here is going to help you set up the mezzo forte, okay? So what I'm thinking in my head is I'm subdividing at the 8th note. do that for me once? 1, 2, out, in.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no, it's okay.
So subdivide the
yeah,
eighth
subdivide the eighth note. Okay, so
Can we
da 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 da. Yeah, nice. Okay, now can you make your subdivision a little more legato? Yeah, nice. Okay, so that when you play it, okay, try it just right on it. 1, 2, out. Yeah, nice. Okay, very, very good. Now, say for example, the difference between this G and the A, resistance-wise, what can you tell me?
More resistance on the A.
Actually, it's more resistance on the G, right? Because we're playing the G way down
yeah.
here. Yeah, and then this is practically zero resistance, right? It's at the very top of the instrument. So, we have to sort of plan on that as we go up to the A. What I hear a little bit on your A is, so it loses the color of all the notes around it. So if we keep this up, the ch and pushing from here, that can never happen. Well, it can, right? Mostly it will never happen. So start here for me. Thinking of that, really pushing the air all the way through to the A. And hold the A once you get to it. Yeah, much better, right? It's closer. Do you hear the color now matches to the note before, okay? So I want you to keep working on it. The other thing that's going to really help, Brandon, is if you remember that you have to push your air down through the instrument, so all the way to the bell to the floor, okay? So with that in mind, start here. So shh, shh, pushing through the bell to the floor. 1, 2, out, in. Yeah, so I heard you push the air to the top of the horn. So let's just play the A. So pushing from here, push it to the bell. There it is, nice. Do you hear the difference there?
Yeah.
Lots of color, lots of core to the note, right? It's what we call core. All right, so keep that up through this whole piece, okay? All right, start once more at the beginning. Let's go on. Very good. It's already getting so much better. Thank you so much. All right, so a couple things. This scale here, it's tricky, right? It was just tricky for me to pick up inside to a part of me. But yeah, it's a little tricky scale. So let's talk about a couple things. First of all, when I'm playing groups of 2s or 4s, so for example, you have 4 16th notes, right? In that scale, okay? So, let's take it out here. So you got to organize it some kind of way. Ba-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-dum. Okay? So I'm thinking of this note all by itself, and then these 4 notes belong together. These 4 notes belong to the note that comes after. So I'm just going to lightly mark it on your part here. You can erase it later. But one way I would practice this is go. Give that a shot once. So, tell me some things you're going to think about air-wise and stuff while you play.
Push all the way to the final note, which is A.
Yeah. Where are you going to push from? Yeah, from here, saying shh the whole time, okay? And pushing through the bell to the floor. That's the important part too, okay? So play dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da, A, pushing to the floor. 1, 2, out, in. Good. Now I'm going to totally over-exaggerate as to what I heard, okay? I heard this. And I want to hear. Try it. Good. So this note got away from you just a little bit, right? Okay. One more time. 2, out. Very good. Okay. So one more time now on your own. Thinking pushing from here to the floor. Good. And then eventually you'll go just a little bit faster. Let me try that for me once. See if you can do that tempo. 1, 2. Yeah, now that's really even, isn't it? Okay, so that's important. We want it to be very even. So what did you do? You organized it differently than when you see on the page, right? This is called making music, right? All these notes are sort of like a graph. They represent things. And you are literally breathing life into them to make them this piece of art, right? So we have to go sort of beyond the bar lines and beyond the groupings we see written here and figure out what notes are really the most important and how can we make it more even, right? So that's a tip there. So you can do the same thing here. D, da, dum, B, da, dee, da, dee, da, dum. So I'd like you to just play for me. One, two, out. Good. One more time, Brandon. 1, 2. Good. Now without doing that, play it. 1, 2, out. Lovely. Did you see how even those were? Or did you hear how even those were, right? Beautiful. Nice job. Okay. So, from the beginning, let's add that all in together. You're going to think of the ch. Tell me one more thing you're going to think about.
We'll take a bigger breath, but
right.
like supporting it.
Yeah, replicating that feeling of the pressure. Okay. Last thing, pushing through to the bow. Okay. Find your air for me once. Good. Here we go. 1, 2, out, in.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I kind of startled you there so quickly. It's okay. 1, 2, out. Yeah, nice. Very good. Already, that's so strong. Now, this 7-lit, right? There's 7 notes there. Okay. Do me a favor. Count to 7 for me out loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. What's different between 7 and all the rest of the numbers you're saying?
Has 2 syllables.
Has 2 syllables, right? So one thing I would do here is just count to 6 twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. Can you say that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1.
So you're going to say 6 twice instead of saying 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1.
Nice! Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Okay, try to say it one more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1.
Right, that's the rhythm there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. Okay? Now, I have a feeling, you know, this is a little scary this round of play, right? I think some of the notes aren't getting even time. Okay? So one thing we're going to do is just play it just like we said it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. Will you play it for me just like that? So thinking, replicating the feeling of the breath, pushing all the way to the ground. Good. So you tell me, did you hear the sound change anywhere?
At the top.
At the top? Okay. I heard something happen here. Okay? So here's what we're going to do now. I want you to just hold out the C sharp. Watch this happen as I play. Okay? So, really, you know, reproducing the pressure of the air, pushing down through the bottom of the line. Okay? Here we go. Sorry, this C sharp here.
Oh, okay.
Good breath. Again. Now let's switch. Yeah, good.
So, like this, right?
Ah, so on C sharp we don't need that, right?
Oh,
Listen
yeah.
to what happens to my C sharp. It raises the pitch and changes the color of the sound, right? So you don't need that on C sharp. You need that D and up mostly. Okay, so in the D and up. Let's do that one more time, actually, the same way we did it. I'll hold the C sharp, and no, I'm sorry, you'll hold the C sharp and I'll play. Here we go. Yeah, nice. Did you like that version? Let's try it one more time. Same thing. Now let's switch. I'll hold the C sharp and play the notes. Again. Now say it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. Let's say it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. Play it. Yeah! So that's the scale, right? That's the little scale that you're playing. That's the organization of the notes. Okay? So now, slowly, I want you to go. Yeah, tell me what happened here.
Well, the air.
Yeah, I think you let up on the air.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very natural thing, you know, when we're like in fight or flight mode, right? We're panicking, we got to play this crazy scale, it's a weird rhythm. That's the first thing to go is the air, right? So to compensate for that, you're going to push more than you thought was even possible, okay? Try that for me once. D, and we'll go a little slower. D, da, D, B, da, 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 D. Yeah, almost. But now I think you have a way to work on it, right? Okay. Any questions about here back?
No.
No? Okay. Let's start right here. Tell me something one thing that's different from the beginning there.
It's softer.
It's a little softer,
And
right?
the articulation changes.
Yeah, a lot more articulation right here, right? Okay, so we have some staccato, right? Which means what, by the way?
Separated.
It's separated, one note from the other. We sort of interpret it to mean shorter, right? Yes, it's going to be shorter, but I think also it's going to have a different color. See what that means to you. Start here for me.
The C sharp?
On the C sharp, yeah, right on it.
Sorry.
Yeah, tell me why you stopped.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Nice. Did you stop because you're like, oh no, what's going to happen next? Maybe. So the reason I ask you is because it's sort of important to know what's going on up here, you know? So if you stop again, I want you to think, why did I stop? Okay? Try it. Nice, Brandon. No, that's okay. We'll talk about how to sort of alleviate that. Let's work backwards first. I know you want to be really soft here. I get it. I would want to play this really soft too. However, if you do this, shh, right? You replicate the feeling in the air. I think you'll like it more. That's me saying shh, right? So it still has to have projection and color and sound to get out. Okay? So you thinking shh, will you play this for me once? Find your air. Good. Yeah, already that has much more sound to it, okay? I like how soft that's going to be. Now, let's start here. So we have a change in dynamic, okay, mezzo piano. To me, when I think of mezzo piano, a change like this from mezzo forte to mezzo piano, I think that the line has to get a little more intense. So in this case, it might mean it's really still pushing ahead because you're about to come back here, right? We want to balance that out. So start here on the E for me.
And keep it going?
Yeah, and keep going. Thank you. I'm going to stop you. Any reason? Do you know why I might be stopping you?
I wasn't supporting the air.
Yeah, so let's this. 1, 2, out, in. Let's
okay.
You and
okay.
I. 1, 2. Good, play it just like that. 1, 2.
Sorry.
Yeah, why'd you stop?
I just got confused from the beginning.
Oh, nice, okay. So now you know why you stopped, right? It wasn't because there was a mechanical issue, or it wasn't because of your air, right? So confirmed.
Sorry.
Yeah. Why'd you stop that time?
I keep dancing at the beginning, and since that was an E, now it's an E, I keep wanting to
Okay.
do that.
Play it as loud at the beginning. So da 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 dee da 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 dee.
You want to play the beginning?
No,
Oh.
which was right here. Nice. What did I say this note is of this key? Do you remember?
What letter does it start with?
Starts with a D. The dominant.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So we have tonic, which is the name of the key, right? This is our home note. Okay. Dominant's the fifth of the key. This ends on the dominant, right? Most pieces we'll play will probably end on the tonic, right? In this case, it doesn't. All right. You have any questions about this one?
No.
Okay. I want to hear you run it down. I'm sure you'd love to run it down. And tell me some things you're going to think about before you play.
Don't let that, like the concept of and keep the air going through
Through the bow. Yeah, good. Find your air for me once before we start. All right, lay it down. Bravo. Sounds really nice. Heard some really big changes, right?
I was running out of air.
Yeah. Okay, and that's what I was going to say too. You obviously have lungs of steel, right? When I was younger, I too had lungs of steel. So things might change, right? So I would take a breath probably here. Da, 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 dee, da, 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 dee. And it might help you do this. After that A, yeah. And it'll help you also to make that little color change between the mezzo forte to the mezzo piano. Whole new idea, right? All right. And then here, start louder, okay? What do you know about notes that are lower? What's the tendency as far as dynamically with them?
It sounds soft.
Softer, right? So humans are able to pick up higher frequencies easier. So that's why notes like this are naturally going to sound louder to us than notes like this, right? So start a little louder than you think and then come down. And I think it'll make it even more effective. Okay? So just an idea there, starting a little bit louder. Cool?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
All right. The question is, what's different about this one than this one?
It's the key signature.
The key signature, that's a big thing, right? What key are we in again?
D.
Yeah. And if you didn't know the name of the key just by having it memorized, how would you have figured that out?
I go to the last sharp,
Uh-huh.
and then go up a half step.
Go up a half step. So in this case, it's C sharp, go up a half step, that's D. Right? Okay. So another thing that's different from
Time signature.
time signature, right? So it's a totally different feel, okay? And also, a lot more notes, right? A lot more noodly on the clarinet. But this is what we live for, right? Playing scales, thirds, and arpeggios all the time. All right, so let's hear you start at the beginning. got the feeling that you're like, you really dig this one, but maybe that's, you played it off very well, right? So sometimes we really like things and we play them with a lot of passion. But sometimes if we don't like them so much, we have to find that passion. So in this case, I think you found it. It's very convincing. All right, so let's talk about a few things here. First of all, we start out mezzo forte, right? What does mezzo mean?
Like medium? Maybe?
Medium. In fact, it means the median, right? In the middle, okay? And forte means what?
Strong.
Strong, right? Like Spanish. In Spanish we say what?
Fuerte.
Fuerte. It means strong. So we interpret forte to mean loud, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it means loud, but it also means just strong, full. And here we're medium, strong, full, right? So something to keep in mind when we play here. Because 2 bars later, we're really forte, right? Okay, so you got to sort of meter this out. That's number 1. Number 2, I think if you do a little more ch and this, these notes at the bottom are going to come out. Because like you told me here, what happens to notes that are lower? Are they easier for us to hear or harder?
Harder to hear.
Harder to hear. So there's going to be a natural decrescendo, okay? So try that, just that. Good. Yeah, one more time. Good. I think you have a little more time to move here, so make sure you're not rushing. Good, nice. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, I would practice all of this without the register key. Okay, that sounds like a wild concept, doesn't it? Listen to me do it once. Sorry, the whole way. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
To do and absorb. Okay, let's have our little meeting with the truth. Okay, I like to call this a meeting with the truth. So, you turn your horn like this, right? We have these notes here. Now, what is this key called?
Register key.
Register key, right? So, if you look at the register key, then you just open it. What does that do when you...
Lets more air.
Lets more air pass through, but also it overblows the 12th, right? So, we open this, the high notes come out. So, right? So how much more embouchure does it take to play the notes that are higher?
Like stronger embouchure?
None.
Oh.
Okay. How much more air does it take to play these higher notes?
Less.
None. It's all the same, right? Who plays these higher notes, or what plays these higher notes? The clarinet plays them, right? We just activate this tiny little key that opens up a tiny little hole, and that's what plays the notes, okay? So this is what this exercise can really help to reinforce, is that you don't have to push any harder to play these notes. They're all right there. So once without the register key, I want you to just play this. So I'm going to go. You do that for me once.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. One more time. Except it's a C sharp, right? D.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, with the ch. Yep.
Wait, we're still... Okay.
Yeah, still no register key.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I know it's hard to play without the register key when it's written like that, right? You're doing a great job. Thank you for doing that. I know it's a quick change and adjustment to make.
Confusing. To the
Yeah, it's very confusing, okay? So now I want you to do these full 2 beats. I'm going to try it. Okay, so I went to the C sharp.
Oh, okay.
Okay, try it. Nice. Now find your breath for me once more. Same thing, no register key. Good. Now, take a peek at your register key one more time. This key opens up that tiny little hole. That's what plays those notes, right? Okay. From the beginning with your register key. Keeping that in mind. Shh. Pushing from here.
Yeah, I'm gonna find my area.
Yeah. Great. That's wonderful. And we can always do this, right? We might look like we're nuts or something, but we can always do this. All right. Yeah, nice. Really nice, Brandon. Great work. So here, I really like what you're doing here. That's nice. What I think is that we need just a little more space after this note. So if I'm playing it slow motion, it sounds like this. Okay, let me do that one more time. So I'm thinking, let's say that together once. Okay, will you play that for me once, just like that? Pushing. Yeah, so that when you play it quicker. Try it. So I think you played it the way you're used to playing it, right? So really think. Nice. That's lovely. I like that. So a little more space. This space here is going to help that F sharp to come out. Because if you look at the beginning of each beat here, right? Play just those notes for me. Ti, fi, re, la, re. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good. That's really, those are really the notes that are important. So when we go, this helps to bring out the lower notes versus us stressing the second note. Yeah, nice, man, great. So start here and then keep going.
At the D?
At the D. Yeah, lovely. I like it. One more time from here. Keep going this time. Yeah, really nice, Brandon. I'm loving your sound.
Did I do well?
Yeah, I think so. Do you think you did?
Not as much.
Not as much. So this can be one of the things you practice. And again, sort of stopping time like I did. Sorry about my D's. Okay? Nice. All right. See, we all need practice, right?
Yeah.
We all need practice. All right. Now here, I noticed that you're re-articulating these notes, right? So you're going da 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 da. You're going. Is that right?
I think.
Is that what you're doing? Okay. Now, the way I interpret notes, staccatos that are under a slur, is that we cut off the note after we played it versus re-articulating. So I would go. Same way I'm doing here. It's that same kind of thing, but a little more exaggerated. Right? Try it once, see what you think. What do you think?
Yeah, didn't realize I was articulating it incorrectly.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it's incorrectly. Maybe that's what the composer's thinking. But I think typically when we play clarinet, we want to clip the note after the slur, right? And that would indicate this for us. So something you might want to change. Okay, now here it's mezzo piano, right? Okay. So mezzo piano doesn't mean don't play with support and don't do and don't push to the bottom of the ground, right? We need to actually push a little more. The softer we play, the air becomes more intense. Okay, so here we're So your tempo start there. With that in mind. Shh, pushing from here. Yeah, good. So now just play it way too loud for me. Good. I like that very much. Now, it is too loud, right? But the style of it, the spirit of it, that's what we need to also have when we're playing mezzo piano. Okay? See if you can do that for me starting here. Good. Do you know what you're naturally doing here?
Speeding up.
No, you're playing these a little bit louder, and that's letting them speak. So now it sounds very even. Bravo. I don't know if you knew you were doing that, but you are, which is great. Okay? I like the spirit of it now. Now what I'd like you to do is just hold out the F sharp mezzo piano, and I'm going to play the line. Okay? Okay, one more time. Good. You play it now. I'll play the F sharp for you. Sorry. That's okay. No problem. Lovely. Now play it yourself. I'll give you one more shot. Yeah. Shh. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's the air we need. Lovely. I like that. Now once on your own. Good. Ya-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da. Push into the ground. So it's the same color as the other notes. One more time. Nice. You like that? I like it real well. Here, and then keep going.